We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Nicole Byer, helping you make those rooms flyer. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild! Like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Ooh, fierce! This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're venturing into the fascinating and, well, increasingly vital world of niche online communities.
Yeah.
Think of this as your streamlined guide, sort of, to understanding this digital phenomenon, giving you the core knowledge without, drowning you in information.
Exactly. For you, the curious listener, we're aiming to cut through all that digital clutter, to deliver the essential insights into these really focused online spaces.
It's almost a nostalgic thought now, isn't it? The early internet's vision of a single global village.
Yeah, that idea.
What's really emerged is, well, a much more intricate digital landscape, a mosaic, really, of these very specific and dedicated online groups.
It does make you wonder about that initial idea, why this shift towards the niche. It wasn't quite what everyone predicted.
Right.
That's a key point, actually. The digital world has, evolved from that one big town square idea into something more like a network of specialized workshops, maybe, or clubs.
That's a good way to put it.
And understanding why this happened, well, it tells us a lot about how we connect today.
So our focus today, we're going to explore the rise of these communities, their incredible variety.
Which is just huge.
The fundamental human needs they fulfill, the diverse platforms they inhabit, the unique cultures they cultivate, and, ultimately their impact on connection in the 21st century. Okay, let's unpack this. What's the big picture driving this move away from the giants?
Well, what's particularly interesting, I think, is this tangible shift away from those giant all-encompassing platforms, despite their massive user bases. There's a real pull towards these smaller, more tightly focused environments.
It does seem a bit counterintuitive at first glance, doesn't it? You'd think that the biggest spaces offer the most connection, but
when you look closely, yeah.
Several key factors are fueling this gravitation towards the niche. The most obvious one is just the sheer volume of noise on those massive platforms. It's like trying to have a meaningful conversation at a stadium rock concert. Just overwhelming.
That information overload, yeah, it creates a significant desire for spaces where you don't have to wade through endless irrelevant stuff. And the key filter in these niche communities isn't some, black box algorithm.
Right.
But the very fact that everyone there shares a core interest, that's the starting point.
Which then leads us straight to the role of those algorithms, doesn't it? While they aim to personalize our experience, the sources suggest they can, inadvertently lead to what we often hear about echo chambers. You can end up primarily seeing content that just reinforces your existing views.
Exactly. And niche communities, on the other hand, offer a space where that shared interest is the primary common ground, which could potentially expose you to a wider range of perspectives within that specific interest, ironically.
Precisely. It's more about intentional community building, isn't it?
Yeah. The very act of someone choosing to join a specific group signals a foundational level of shared understanding and passion.
Right.
And this ties right into another crucial driver, the search for genuine connection and, belonging.
Absolutely. The often kind of performative nature of mainstream social media can be draining. We all feel that sometimes, I think.
Yeah, fine.
In these more focused communities, there's a stronger sense of being able to be your authentic self, quirks and all, and connecting with others who genuinely appreciate that specific interest. It's really about finding your people, no matter how specialized your passion might be.
And for many individuals, these specific interests are deeply intertwined with their sense of identity,
That makes sense.
So niche communities provide that essential space to explore and celebrate those identities with others who understand and value them.
Yeah.
Think about like a thriving online forum dedicated to collecting a very specific type of vintage toy.
Okay.
That community becomes a real anchor for its members' identity as collectors. It's not just a hobby, it's part of who they are.
That makes perfect sense. And beyond just connections, sometimes the broad tools offered by those big platforms just aren't, well, sufficient.
Right. They're too general.
The sources highlight how niche communities often emerge precisely because of a need for more specialized features. You might see dedicated forums built for really in-depth technical discussions that just wouldn't work well in a general social media feed.
No way.
Or collaborative wikis designed for intricate fandom lore that, a standard document editor can't handle. Or even specialized marketplaces tailored to very specific hobbies, like a platform just for trading handmade pottery, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. The large platforms try to be a jack of all trades, but sometimes that means they master none for these specific needs.
That's a great way to put it. It's about functionality being driven by fellowship, maybe.
I like that.
Yep.
Now, when we say niche, it's easy to picture something incredibly obscure, right? Like super tiny.
Yeah, really specific.
But the sources really underscore just how remarkably broad this spectrum is. We're talking about interests that span from the seemingly microscopic to surprisingly large and incredibly active groups.
It truly is mind-boggling. The sheer variety is a testament to the internet's power to connect people across, well, any imaginable boundary. Let's look at some concrete examples to really illustrate this. Fandoms are a classic example.
Oh, yeah.
These online communities centered around specific books, movies, TV shows, or video games. And they go far beyond just passively enjoying the content.
Absolutely. They become hubs for active engagement. You see, like these incredibly in-depth analyses that dissect every single detail.
Down to the frame sometimes.
Right. Elaborate and often surprisingly insightful fan theories being debated constantly. And a massive outpouring of creative work like fan fiction and fan art.
Mm-hmm.
And these efforts are often collaborative. Think about those sprawling wikis that are built and maintained by fans dedicated to a particular fictional universe. It's amazing.
Then you have the hobby communities. This is where you see an incredible amount of knowledge exchange happening.
Totally.
Whether it's something like knitting, model building, collecting vintage comic books, getting into urban beekeeping, or even competitive puzzle solving, speed cubing. Yeah.
Right. These online spaces serve as global workshops where techniques are shared, projects are showcased, and mutual encouragement flourishes. It's like having a worldwide community of fellow enthusiasts right at your fingertips.
And the depth of expertise within some of these hobby communities is truly astounding. You can find incredibly detailed step-by-step guides, expert troubleshooting advice, and passionate debates about the most nuanced aspects of a particular craft or collection. People get really into it.
Shifting gears a bit, to the technical realm, these specialized tech communities are absolutely vital for problem solving and the advancement of knowledge.
Oh, indispensable.
Think about software developers sharing snippets of code and debugging tips, network administrators troubleshooting complex system failures, or hardware modders pushing the absolute limits of what's possible.
These are intensely focused spaces for deep dives into very specific technical domains. Real work gets done there. Exactly. And often these communities are where innovation happens, right? With individuals collaborating on open source projects or sharing cutting edge research and discoveries within their specific technical niche.
Definitely. Now, subcultures represent another fascinating area. These online communities coalesce around specific music genres, fashion styles, alternative lifestyles, even philosophical viewpoints. They become crucial spaces for individuals to explore their identity, connect with shared aesthetics and values, and even develop their own unique cultural norms and expressions. It's about finding others who resonate with your particular way of seeing and being in the world.
And these subcultural communities can be incredibly important, I imagine, for individuals who might feel like outsiders or misunderstood in more mainstream social settings.
Oh, massively. They provide a vital sense of belonging and validation for alternative ways of life. A safe harbor sometimes.
We also shouldn't overlook the local and hyperlocal groups. These are all about building community in a physical sense, really.
Yeah, using the online space as a tool.
Exactly. To connect neighbors, share local news and information, and organize community events. It's essentially a digital extension of your immediate geographic surroundings. Your neighborhood Facebook group, maybe.
Which really highlights that not all niche communities are about escaping the physical world. Many are focused on strengthening connections within it, just using online tools to facilitate that.
A good point. And then we have the incredibly important support and advocacy groups.
Yeah, these are so crucial.
Whether it's for specific health conditions, shared life experiences like maybe parenting challenges, or advocating for social or political causes, these communities offer vital emotional support, a space to exchange practical information and resources, and a platform for collective action. The feeling of shared experience and mutual understanding in these groups can be incredibly powerful.
It's where people facing similar challenges can find empathy, understanding, and a practical advice that they might not be able to find anywhere else. It really reduces isolation.
And let's not forget about the communities built around creative pursuits.
Right. Artists, writers, musicians.
Absolutely. Whether it's writing in a specific genre, painting in a particular style, playing an obscure musical instrument, or mastering a niche photography technique.
These online communities provide platforms for getting constructive feedback, finding collaborators, and developing skills within a very focused area. It's like having a global critique group and masterclass rolled into one, almost.
And finally, the gaming communities, these go way beyond simply playing games together, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. You see intricate team-building exercises, deep strategic discussions about gameplay mechanics, and the organization of both online tournaments and offline meetups centered around specific games or gaming genres.
It's a truly deep level of engagement and community building. It really underscores just how incredibly diverse this landscape is.
It really does.
And what's truly fascinating is why these incredibly varied communities thrive. The sources point to some really fundamental human needs that they address so effectively.
Yeah, that's the core of it, I think.
First and foremost is that profound sense of genuine connection and belonging.
Exactly. It's about forging authentic relationships that are deeply rooted in shared passions, which can be a stark contrast, let's be honest, to the often more superficial connections we encounter on broader social media platforms.
And there's that incredibly powerful element of validation and acceptance. If you have a really specific or unconventional interest, finding a community where that interest is not only understood but actively celebrated, well, that can be incredibly validating.
Totally. It counters that feeling of being alone in your enthusiasm,
Yeah.
It's about discovering a space where what might be considered weird elsewhere is actually the norm. And that can be incredibly liberating and empowering.
And then these communities become invaluable resources for acquiring specialized knowledge and connecting with expertise.
Oh, definitely. Think about trying to troubleshoot a very specific technical problem with a piece of software, or wanting to learn about a highly technical aspect of a niche hobby.
Right. Where do you go?
These online communities often become the primary destination for finding individuals with the exact knowledge you need. It's like having a global network of specialists at your disposal, basically.
And because everyone within these communities shares a common interest, a unique language, and shared understanding often naturally develop.
You see the emergence of specific jargon, inside jokes, shared cultural references
Right.
that further strengthen that in-group identity and make communication within the group much more efficient.
It's almost like a secret language that only the members truly understand, which really reinforces that feeling of belonging. And these communities aren't just about talking. They frequently foster collaborative opportunities and the development of shared projects.
Yeah, that's a big part of it for many, whether it's a group of fans working together on a massive collaborative fan fiction project or developers contributing to an open source software initiative.
Okay.
These communities provide both the platform and the shared motivation for collective creation and contribution. People build things together.
And for those communities that are centered around providing support or advocacy, that shared experience offers a crucial element of emotional support and the exchange of practical advice.
Absolutely. Knowing that you're not alone in facing a particular challenge can make a world of difference. The empathy and understanding that flourish in these spaces can be incredibly powerful and even, well, therapeutic.
So where exactly are these diverse niche communities actually gathering online? The sources highlight a real variety of platforms that cater to these specific needs.
Yeah, it's not just one place. We're definitely not just talking about one or two dominant players here.
Yeah.
You still have those more traditional specialized forums and message boards.
Right, the old school stuff.
They might seem a bit like relics of the early internet, maybe, but platforms like Reddit subreddits, dedicated gaming forums, and even some of the older bulletin board systems, they continue to be incredibly valuable.
Why is that, do you think?
For hosting in-depth discussions and creating lasting, searchable archives of information. It's all about that focused, threaded conversation, which sometimes gets lost in faster feeds.
That makes sense. The history is preserved.
And the enduring popularity of these platforms really speaks to their effectiveness for certain types of communities, particularly those that prioritize detailed, asynchronous discussion and easily searchable historical archives. Then, of course, you have the more recent explosion of real-time chat platforms like Discord.
Discord has become absolutely massive for niche communities, hasn't it?
Oh, huge. The combination of text and voice channels, the ability to set up very granular role-based access for different members, and the robust community management tools. It makes it incredibly versatile.
For what kinds of things?
For everything from just casual chatting to organizing more structured events and activities, it's become like a digital clubhouse for so many different interest groups.
A digital clubhouse. I like that.
Its real-time nature fosters a strong sense of immediacy and can be particularly effective for building close-knit communities through ongoing instant interaction.
Interestingly, even though Facebook is the epitome of a massive generalized platform, its groups feature actually hosts a huge number of very specific and highly active communities.
That's a great point. It's kind of paradoxical, isn't it?
Yeah. While the overall Facebook experience can sometimes feel overwhelming and broad, those individual groups offer a much more contained and focused environment centered around a particular interest.
Plus, the familiar interface makes it accessible to a really wide range of people. Lower barrier to entry, maybe.
Good point. And for certain niche interests, dedicated platforms and websites have emerged that offer tailored features specifically designed for that community.
Right, built just for them. Think about DeviantArt for visual artists to showcase their work, Goodreads for readers to discuss books and track their reading,
Oh yeah, I use Goodreads.
or Ravelry for knitters and crocheters to share patterns and connect with fellow yarn enthusiasts.
These dedicated spaces really cater to the very specific needs of their user base, often providing a much more focused and feature-rich experience than a general-purpose platform could ever offer.
Exactly. We're also seeing the increasing growth of communities built around individual creators and experts through platforms like Patreon, right?
Mhm. That direct support model.
Exactly. These subscription-based communities offer exclusive content and a more direct line of interaction with the people whose work they admire. It fosters a different and often more intimate kind of connection.
And it provides a direct way for creators to sustain their work through the support of their most dedicated fans. It's an economic model, too.
Definitely. And the whole landscape is constantly evolving, isn't it? With new micro-platforms and emerging online spaces popping up all the time, often catering to incredibly specific sub-interests.
It really highlights the dynamic and ever-changing nature of online community building. It's not static at all.
It demonstrates that as soon as a need arises for a more focused or specialized digital space, the internet often finds a way to create it. Someone builds it.
Okay, so finally in this section, the sources touch on the unique cultures that develop organically within these niche online communities. It's not just about the shared interest itself, is it?
No, not at all. You start to see these distinct ways of interacting, almost like miniature online societies forming.
Okay, like what?
Well, one of the first things that often emerges is a specific set of rules and guidelines.
Right, the community rules.
These aren't usually arbitrary. They're typically put in place to cultivate a positive and focused environment that really supports the community's core purpose.
Yeah.
Keep things on track.
And these rules often reflect the deeply held shared values and beliefs of the community members in relation to their particular interest, I suppose.
Exactly. It's about establishing a foundational understanding of what constitutes respectful and productive interaction within that specific context.
And then you have the fascinating development of unique jargon and terminology.
Oh yeah, the lingo.
It might sound like complete gibberish to someone outside the community, but within the group, it becomes a really efficient and nuanced way of communicating complex ideas quickly.
It acts as a form of shorthand that also strongly reinforces that sense of in-group identity. The terms, you're one of us, you belong.
And who can forget the prevalence of inside jokes and internet memes that often proliferate within these communities?
They're like digital badges of honor. If you understand the inside joke, you're definitely part of the tribe. It really strengthens that feeling of shared experience and mutual understanding. Builds camaraderie.
And some communities even develop their own unique rituals and traditions, like specific ways of interacting, celebrating milestones, or sharing content.
Yeah, absolutely. It all contributes to that distinct cultural fabric that binds the community together, makes it feel unique.
You also often see the natural emergence of hierarchies and roles within these communities. You have moderators who help keep discussions on track and enforce the rules.
The mods, yeah.
Yeah.
Crucial role.
Administrators who manage the platform itself, and long-standing respected members who often become go-to resources and informal leaders within the community.
It's a natural evolution as these groups mature. People step up or gain respect over time.
It's a fascinating glimpse into how these online spaces, despite being purely digital, often mirror some of the social dynamics we observe in offline communities, just with their own unique digital characteristics.
Exactly. Now let's shift our focus maybe to the actual engines that really drive the growth and sustained engagement within these niche communities. The sources highlight how specific platform features play a truly crucial role.
Absolutely. Simply having a shared interest isn't enough. The platform itself needs to effectively facilitate connection and interaction, right?
Definitely.
One key aspect here is what we can call the architectural advantage, the presence of features that are specifically tailored to the needs of these interest groups. Take granular categorization and tagging, for instance.
Super important.
Think of it like having a super specific filing system for a very particular hobby instead of just a general crafts drawer. You have meticulously labeled folders for watercolor painting on rice paper versus cross-stitch patterns from the Victorian era.
That's a great analogy. This level of detail is so important. The ability to really finely categorize content and use very specific tags allows users to pinpoint exactly the information they're seeking.
Oh, so?
Well, on broader platforms, you might search for something general like gardening, right? But on a niche platform, you can instantly find discussions specifically about hydroponic gardening for small urban spaces or identifying common pests on heirloom tomatoes. That level of specificity is a real game changer.
It really helps to filter out all the irrelevant noise then.
Totally. And closely linked to this is robust search functionality. Being able to easily and efficiently find specific information, past discussions, relevant resources within the community, that's absolutely vital.
For knowledge sharing and problem solving, I bet.
Exactly. It essentially transforms the community into a searchable database of collective expertise. If a member has a question, the likelihood is high that it's been asked and answered before.
And a good search makes that easy to find.
Right. Saves time, fosters a sense of shared knowledge. Then you have content curation and organization features.
Okay, it's like what?
Things like effective tagging systems, clear category structures, and even collaboratively edited wikis that the community itself can contribute to. All help to organize the vast amounts of user-generated content.
So valuable information doesn't just get buried in the feed.
Precisely. And it makes it much easier for newcomers to get up to speed and find what they need. Think of it as a collective, ongoing effort to build and maintain a comprehensive shared knowledge base around that specific interest.
Platforms also often implement reputation systems and the awarding of badges to members.
Yeah, those little icons or scores.
They might seem like relatively minor features, maybe, but they can be surprisingly powerful in encouraging active participation and publicly recognizing expertise within the community.
How so?
Well, a badge that identifies someone as a master baker in a food forum or a high reputation score in a tech support community. It can carry real social weight and signify valuable contributions. People notice.
It introduces a positive form of gamification, maybe, incentivizing helpful contributions and fostering a sense of authority for those members who have demonstrated their knowledge and willingness to assist others.
Collaborative tools are also incredibly important for many niche communities, aren't they?
Hugely. Features like shared document editing, integrated project management tools, even the ability to collaboratively build resources like FAQs and glossaries, allow community members to actually work together on shared projects and initiatives. It fosters a much deeper level of engagement than just simple discussion.
It moves the community beyond passive consumption of content to active creation, collaboration, and the tangible output of shared effort, people making things together.
Exactly. And finally, the integration with relevant external resources is often a really valuable feature for these focused platforms.
Like linking out.
Yeah. Providing easy links to relevant external websites, specialized databases, other useful tools outside of the platform itself. It can greatly expand the community's access to information and helps position the platform as a central hub for that particular interest.
Right. It's about acting as a gateway to a wider world of knowledge and resources related to the niche.
Exactly. Now, we really can't discuss thriving online communities without acknowledging the absolutely crucial role of effective moderation and community management.
Oh, yeah. The mods. They are truly the unsung guardians of these digital spaces, aren't they?
Absolutely. Effective moderation is what ultimately keeps these online spaces positive, productive, and focused on their core interests. It's essential.
And it all begins with establishing clear rules and guidelines for member behavior, right?
Yes. Everyone needs to understand what is considered acceptable conduct and what the potential consequences are for violating those standards. Clarity is key.
These community guidelines really set the overall tone and help to cultivate a sense of safety, respect, and focused discussion.
But simply having rules in place isn't sufficient. They must also be consistently and fairly enforced. And that's where moderators come in.
They're on the front lines of this effort, aren't they? Removing inappropriate or off-topic content, issuing warnings to members who violate the rules.
And sometimes even temporarily or permanently banning users who repeatedly disregard the community standards. It has to happen sometimes.
It's often a challenging and sometimes even thankless task, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. But it's absolutely essential for maintaining a healthy and productive environment for the community as a whole.
Moderators also play a vital role in actively facilitating discussions and skillfully resolving conflicts that may arise between members.
They might step in to mediate disputes, gently guide conversations back on topic, encourage respectful dialogue when disagreements occur, keep things civil.
They are often the behind-the-scenes heroes, working diligently to maintain peace and ensure that discussions remain constructive and aligned with the community's purpose.
Actively identifying and empowering positive and helpful contributors within the community is also a key aspect of effective community management.
How does that work?
Well, publicly recognizing those active and knowledgeable members who consistently contribute positively, that can be incredibly effective. It boosts overall morale and encourages others to participate and share their expertise.
So it's about fostering a culture of contribution and valuing those who enrich the community.
Precisely. And just as the interests themselves can evolve over time, so too can the needs and dynamics of the community. Things change.
Right.
So skilled moderators and community managers are constantly adapting to these evolving needs, regularly reviewing and updating the community guidelines to address new issues and maintain a healthy and welcoming environment for all members.
It's really an ongoing process of refinement and adaptation then, not a set it and forget it thing.
Not at all. The sources also touch upon the increasingly significant role of automation in content moderation, AI tools and such.
Okay. How helpful are those?
Well, AI-powered tools can certainly be helpful in assisting with tasks like automatically flagging potentially inappropriate content based on keywords or patterns, but
There's a but.
yeah, the sources emphasize that these automated tools have inherent limitations. Human oversight and nuanced judgment remain absolutely essential for making complex moderation decisions.
You really need that human element, don't you? To understand context, intent, the subtleties of community norms, something that algorithms simply can't fully replicate yet.
Exactly. Now, another truly fascinating aspect of these niche communities is the central role of knowledge sharing and the natural emergence of authority figures within them, the experts.
Right, the people who really know their stuff.
These communities often evolve into incredible repositories of highly specialized knowledge, and the individuals who possess deep expertise within the community play a crucial role in guiding discussions, answering questions, and generously sharing their understanding.
And platforms often incorporate features to help recognize these knowledgeable members, right?
Yeah, things like the reputation badges we discussed earlier, visible reputation scores based on contributions, or even verified expert accounts can all serve to highlight individuals who have a proven track record of providing valuable and accurate insights within the community. Makes them stand out.
And beyond these individual contributions, many niche communities develop very structured ways of sharing knowledge with their members. Think about collaboratively maintained wikis that serve as comprehensive knowledge bases, frequently asked questions, sections, FAQs that address common issues, and detailed step-by-step tutorials created by experienced members for newcomers.
It's about democratizing access to information and making it available to everyone within the community, not just the experts.
And often, more experienced members naturally take on a mentorship role, don't they? Informally guiding newcomers, helping them learn the fundamental principles, navigating the more intricate aspects of the shared interest.
That kind of personalized guidance and support from experienced peers can be absolutely invaluable, especially for those who are just beginning to explore a new or complex interest. It makes it less intimidating.
And within these communities, you also frequently see robust debates and critical analyses of complex topics related to the shared interests.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not just about agreeing with each other all the time. Far from it sometimes.
Right. In-depth discussions, even when they involve respectful disagreements and the presentation of different viewpoints, can actually contribute to a much deeper collective understanding of the shared interest.
It sharpens everyone's knowledge and encourages critical thinking. Healthy debate is good.
But a key balancing act for these communities, I guess, is ensuring that expert knowledge is presented in a way that remains accessible and welcoming to all members, regardless of their current level of experience.
Absolutely. The most successful communities manage to bridge that gap between deep expertise and beginner-friendly explanations. You don't want to scare people off.
No, exactly. No one wants to feel intimidated or excluded by overly technical jargon or a sense of gatekeeping.
Right. Now, let's delve into something that might seem a little less obvious in these passion-driven communities. The underlying economy of passion.
Okay.
The money side.
Yeah, or the various ways that monetization and long-term sustainability can play a role.
Right, because running these things isn't always free.
Exactly. While the primary driving force in most niche communities is undoubtedly shared interest and passion, economic factors can become important for the long-term health and vitality of these groups, particularly for the creators, experts, and community organizers who dedicate significant time and resources to them.
So how does that work?
Well, one common way this manifests is through donations and patronage via platforms like Patreon.
Right, supporting creators directly.
This allows community members who deeply value the content and the ongoing contributions of others to directly support them financially, often in exchange for exclusive benefits or early access to content.
You also see communities offering various forms of subscriptions and premium content to their members.
This might include exclusive articles, behind-the-scenes access, ad-free experiences, or other special perks offered to paying subscribers. It provides a more predictable and sustainable revenue stream for creators and community organizers.
Selling branded merchandise and related products is another fairly common way for communities and individual creators to generate income, right?
Yeah, definitely. Think about a band selling T-shirts and other merchandise to their online fan community, or a crafting group offering specialized tools or unique patterns for sale.
Affiliate marketing can also play a role in some niche communities.
Right. This involves creators or experts within the community recommending relevant products or services to their audience and earning a small commission on any sales that result from those referrals, if it's done transparently.
And some communities even organize paid online or in-person events and workshops related to their shared interest.
Yeah. Whether it's a virtual summit featuring expert speakers or an in-person gathering for enthusiasts to connect and learn together, these events can provide both valuable experiences for community members and a source of revenue for the organizers.
However, the sources also raise some important ethical considerations that communities need to navigate carefully when it comes to monetization. It's not always straightforward.
No, it's absolutely crucial to find a healthy balance between the financial needs of the community and the fundamental need to maintain its integrity, and avoid any perception of exploiting its members for financial gain.
Transparency and clear communication about how funds are being used must be key to maintaining trust then.
Absolutely. The last thing you want is for the pursuit of profit to overshadow the core values and the sense of community that brought people together in the first place. It can kill the vibe, basically.
Right. Finally, let's consider the often surprising impact that these seemingly small and niche online communities can have on broader mainstream culture.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It's remarkable how frequently trends, new ideas, and even significant cultural phenomena actually bubble up from these more specialized and often initially obscure digital spaces.
So niche communities can act as incubators for innovation and change.
I think so, yeah. Think about internet memes, for example. So many of them originate within smaller, dedicated online communities before they suddenly explode in popularity and spread to a much wider audience across the internet.
That's true. We also see the rise of influential figures who first gain deep expertise and build a dedicated following within a specific niche before sometimes crossing over into more mainstream recognition and influence.
They become highly trusted and respected voices within their particular area of focus, and then they can attract the attention of a much broader audience seeking their specialized knowledge or perspective. They built credibility in the niche first.
And sometimes, what was once considered a very obscure or fringe interest can actually gain significant mainstream popularity, often thanks to the visibility and passionate advocacy that takes place within dedicated online communities.
Like a cultural ripple effect,
Yeah.
What begins as a small and highly focused phenomenon can eventually capture the attention and even shape the tastes of a much larger audience. Think about certain food trends, maybe, or fitness crazes.
Good examples. These communities can also play a significant role in the cross-pollination of ideas and styles across different cultural domains.
How do you mean?
Well, you might observe trends in art, music, fashion, or even language that originated within a very specific online subculture and then gradually get adopted and adapted by more mainstream cultural expressions.
Right, it bleeds outwards. It's a constant process of innovation and cultural exchange, often starting small.
And perhaps most importantly, niche communities can wield surprisingly significant power when it comes to collective action and advocacy around shared causes.
When members are deeply passionate about a particular issue, whether it's related to their hobby, their identity, or a broader social concern, they can often mobilize very effectively.
To do what?
To raise awareness, organize support, advocate for specific changes both online and offline. That passionate focus is powerful.
That powerful combination of shared passion, focused organization, and a strong sense of community can indeed be a significant force for change in various aspects of our world.
Definitely.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, it's pretty clear that these niche online communities are far more than just fringe groups tucked away in obscure corners of the internet.
No, absolutely not. They are a vibrant, thriving, and, well, increasingly important part of today's digital landscape.
They effectively fulfill fundamental human needs for genuine connection, validation of identity, and access to specialized knowledge and expertise.
In ways that larger, more generalized platforms often simply cannot replicate. They offer something different.
And they powerfully demonstrate the enduring human need for connection around shared passions, fostering unique online cultures, and even exerting a surprising influence on the broader world around us.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, our listener. Consider a niche interest that you yourself have, maybe something you're really passionate about. How might actively engaging with an online community dedicated to that interest deepen your understanding, expand your connections, and, well, enrich your passion?
And perhaps what potential trends or innovative ideas might be currently emerging from such communities that could eventually shape the broader culture we all inhabit? It's definitely a fascinating question to ponder, isn't it?